Hey guys, it's Jenna here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a pretty fun video today in my opinion because this is going to be my 18 favorites of 2018. So, judging by the thumbnail, this was a very difficult video to get the thumbnail for, but I'm really excited to share all of these books with you guys. So these are going to be in no particular order because I kind of have them stacked from like hardcover to softcover right now because that was just how the thumbnail was going to work. I dropped the stack of books multiple times and that was the only way that would actually work. So we're going to get into this. I'm going to try not to go too into depth with these, but like when you're talking about your favorite reads of 2018, that's kind of difficult. So bear with me. So I'm just going to pick up the first book that I see, and that is Kingdom of Ash. This is going to be the book that I choose to wrap the entire Throne of Glass series because I had a lot of favorites from that series, but it was just going to be too many books to handle for this video. So, and this was the one that got released in 2018, so I decided to choose this one to represent the series. So I picked up the Throne of Glass series in 2018, and I'm so glad I did. This series has a very special place in my heart, and honestly, my favorites of the series are literally almost all of them except for Throne of Glass and Air of Fire. And there's nothing bad about those books. They're just like my 4.5 star reads. Like all the rest of them are 5-star reads, and I literally adore them so much. But I think the one that has to take the cake is probably Kingdom of Ash, because Kingdom of Ash was the conclusion of all of them. I'm so sad that when I just got into them, now the series is ending. Like, I'm so sad about that. And honestly, I just adored this book so much. Like, Sarah J. Maas was able to do multiple perspectives and just make each and every one equally interesting so the reader was still engaged, like, no matter whose perspective we were reading. We got, like, 5 different perspectives, and they were just so amazing, and each person's story plot was just so, like, well thought out, and just everything came full circle, and I just really, really love this series. I'm going to be reading it in 2019 all over again. So, obviously, Kingdom of Ash and it's the series that it represents obviously had to be on my favorites of 2018. The next book that I have on my favorites of 2018 is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is book 2 in the Caraval series. And honestly, I really, really liked this. I loved Caraval, but I really liked this as well. I liked seeing Tella's perspective and, you know, just Julian and Dante. And I really liked it. It was very magical, but it was a lot more dark and mysterious, more so than Caraval was, and just it felt like the stakes were a lot higher. And overall, I just really, really, really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad I was finally able to pick it up in 2018, and now I am anxiously awaiting finale. The next book I have is Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. This is book 3 in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and I'm honestly so pleased with this addition to the series. I felt like it was just exactly what we needed. It was so, like, grotesque, like, in the murders that they were investigating, but it was so mysterious and, like, heartfelt. And there was a little love triangle sprinkled in there as well, but, like, I loved this so much. I think that the whole, terrorized cruise ship is so cool, and I loved seeing Argyro's work as a forensic scientist. I loved Cresswell. I actually really loved Mephistopheles too, and I just thought this was so amazing, so witty, and like honestly I don't even like historical fiction, but this was so good. So I can't wait for Capturing the Devil, and that is the conclusion, so that makes me really sad, but I'll live with it. Next, I have Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This is a standalone series about a girl named Serena who can spin illusions from her mind, but she is so good at what she does that her illusions end up turning into real people, and they start to get murdered in the circus. And this, oh my god, this book was so, so good. I loved meeting the illusions, and I loved Serena as a character. and now I forget who her love interest was. Oof. But I thought that the murder aspect was really cool, and the plot twist at the end of this was so great. I just thought this was very well written and such an interesting concept, so I really, really enjoyed this, and I'm really glad I picked it up. Next, I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the first book in the Folks of Air series, I think it is. I'm pretty sure. But this centers on a girl named Jude who is taken into the world of fairy when she is a child with her twin sister after the king, he's not the king, one of the knights goes and kills her parents. So she is adopted into the world of fairy and is a human that grows up in the fairy realm. So she's always trying to fit in, and she develops this love-hate relationship with Prince Carden, who is known to be the cruelest prince. And I love this story so much, and I'm so excited for Wicked King. The release date is so close. Oh my god, I can't wait to get my Fae crate. Oh, I'm just so excited. Next is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the novella that follows the Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. This is just kind of like a spin-off novella. It's basically, here's some clarification. A lot of people hate this book. And it makes me mad because everyone's like, it's not a book, it had no plot, and blah 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 blah. This is just fan fiction. But like, that's exactly what Sarah J. Maas said it was going to be. I don't know why anybody was expecting anything different. She's literally just like, I started writing some fanfic and then I literally just published it, and I felt like it was a nice little fluffy addition after Aqua War, and I totally agree. I loved everything about this book. There wasn't one thing I didn't like about it, aside from Nesta. But I loved this. Like, everybody hates on it so much, but it's exactly what we needed. After such an intense, taxing book like Aqua War, like, don't get me wrong, I love Aqua War, but there's so much war and bloodshed and just our characters are going through so much pain that Court of Frost and Starlight is the perfect mediator. It's like, it's literally around Christmas time and everybody's healing. You see them interact, and it's like exactly what my heart needed to heal from that series, and I'm so glad I read it. I've already read this twice this year, so everyone stop hating on ACOMAF. It's trying its best. ACOFAS is trying its best. Next is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany G. Jackson. This is about a girl named Claudia whose best friend Monday goes missing, and it's like completely unlike her. She doesn't show up for school, nothing. So Claudia is going on the search for Monday. Nobody really listens to her until Monday is found a year later. And so this is just like a really hard-hitting, heartfelt story, and it is so good. I was so blown away. I flew through this book so fast. Like, I could not stop reading. It was so well written, and just everything about it was so great. Highly, highly recommend. Excuse me while I plug in my light because the sun went down, guys. Ta-da! That didn't do much, but yay! I have The Hate You Give by Benji Thomas. This is about a girl named Star who is at a party with her friend Khalil. When the party starts getting shot up and there's violence at the party, so they leave, only to get pulled over by a white police officer. They're both black, and they get pulled over and are not told why they are pulled over. He's waiting outside the car, and ultimately her best friend gets shot by a white cop. And honestly, the media kind of just ignores it because he's a black drug dealer and this person was a white cop who ultimately had no reason to shoot this kid. So the media goes into a craze, and it's all about her finding her voice and speaking out against police brutality and like trying to sort out the race and surround the violence surrounding racial views. And oh my god, this book, I read this for book club and I'm so glad I did. I loved it so much, and I'm so excited for Angie Thomas's new book On the Come Up, coming out in February. So excited. Next, I read War of the Cards by Colleen Oakes. This was the third book in the Queen of Hearts trilogy, and this was so good. Like, I can still remember this, and I read this all the way back in January. And it was really, really good. It was not what I was expecting out of the series, but like I'm so the things how everything tied in, and like everything was just tied together, and like it all makes sense, and the ending kind of ties in with the Alice in Wonderland story, and you're just like, oh my god. It was so good, and I would highly, highly recommend the Queen of Hearts trilogy. Next is Two Dark Reigns by Kendar Blake. This is the third book in the Queens of Fenburn trilogy, Three Dark Crowns series. This book was so good. I just recently read this, and I'm still a little bit speechless by it. It was just so phenomenal. There's not much else to say about it, but I really, really loved it. Each perspective was equally interesting, and like, even though I don't like Catherine, her perspective also interested me. I was like always waiting to see what happened next, and obviously Kendar Blake couldn't write a Three Dark Crowns book without leaving us on a ridiculous cliffhanger. So I'm eagerly awaiting the conclusion. Next is Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. This little series is about these kids who each end up finding a door that goes to a fantasy realm. Each one is kind of different. They all have their own qualities. And each door that these kids fall through, they end up making a home there that is better than the one they left. And so essentially when they leave these worlds, or when they get kicked out of these worlds, they're coping with a lot internally, and so they end up getting shipped off to Eleanor West's home for wayward children. And so this is a home designated for the kids who are coping from being kicked out of their doors. And it's so good. Oh my god, I was so intrigued, and this first book was my favorite, but obviously I really liked the whole series so far, and I can't wait for In a Nap's Dream to come out. Next is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and a good one at that. This centers on a girl named Lyra, who is known as the Princess Bane. She is a siren, and she is the Queen's daughter, the Siren Queen's daughter. And so essentially every year on her birthday, she goes out and she steals a prince's heart. Only she oversteps, and so her mother curses her, essentially, to go live on land. And she has to steal oh my god. She had, I can't remember. Yeah, she is punished. She's robbed of her song, and she has until the winter solstice to deliver Prince Elian's heart to the Sea Queen, or remain a human forever. Prince Elian is a siren hunter. He's the prince of Midos, I think. And he spends his living as a pirate hunting down sirens. So she has until the winter solstice to steal his heart, or she will remain a human forever. And I really, really loved this book. I was so pleased with it. Oh, it was so good. I think I have a problem with really liking the enemies to lovers trope, guys. So I'm so dark right now, guys. This is an issue. Maybe I'll light a candle. Now that we have, whoa, okay, that was feisty. Okay, next we have Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the book I'm choosing to rep for the Grisha trilogy. So the Grisha trilogy made it on my 2018 list, but this was my favorite in the series. This is the third book. So good. So essentially the Grisha trilogy centers on a girl named Alina Starkov, who is just a normal human, only that she is on a mission. She's like a map maker in the army, for the Continental Army, and one day she discovers that she has a power that nobody knows exists. So she and her crew are going out across the, what's it called? The Fold, that's what it's called. So they're going across the Fold, which is this swath of darkness across their lands that has these evil creatures in it that end up eating people, and hardly anybody can make it across the Fold. But she unleashes this power that she did not know existed. So she becomes one of the most coveted people in the Grisha world, and so the Darkling starts to covet her and wants to use her power. And oh, that's a good book. Next, I'm also really excited for King of Scars, guys. Holy crap. it's on its way to me soon. Next is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is about a girl named Lara Jean who writes a love letter to every boy she's ever had a crush on. She kind of writes it after she's starting to get over them, just to kind of resolve her feelings, and it's like kind of a cathartic outlet for her. But one day all those letters get sent out, so woohoo. Next we have Scythe by Neil Shusterman, and this is about two kids named Citra and Rowan who are chose to be apprentices as a scythe, which a scythe is the only people in this world who have the power to kill. Death is essentially eliminated and conquered in this world. There's no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery, and humanity has conquered all those things and even conquered death. Scythes are the only one that can end life. And this was so good. I still need to read Thunderhead. I'm hoping to pick that up soon. Next is My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Warga. Oh my lord, this book. This is a hard-hitting contemporary if I ever knew one. So this is about two kids named Aisel and what's his name? Roman. Each are dealing with their own demons inside, and so they meet on this website designated for people meeting up to make suicide pacts. So they end up making a suicide pact to kill themselves together, but their plan goes a little bit wrong, and they may end up, instead of planning to die together, they discover the potential of living together and end up saving each other. And there were so many tears that went into this book. I loved it so much. I'm probably gonna reread that soon, to be honest. I just loved it that much. Next is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This is about a girl named Eden who, as a freshman, she is raped by her brother's best friend and is basically blackmailed into secrecy. So you kind of see throughout her high school experience how she deals with this internally. She transforms into a completely different person, and it's told in each year of her experience until she finally gains the courage to speak out about it. And it just shows how brutal it is, what people go through who have experienced sexual assault, and I cried so hard with this book. And the last book that I have on my list is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is about a boy named Connor who, in wake of his mother's spiral from cancer, ends up seeing this monster come to his window every night. And he kind of uses it to cope. So the things are getting worse. He's coping with things more destructively as his mother gets worse and worse. And this monster helps him find his way to accepting and dealing with things in a healthy way. And I want to cry just thinking about it. This book was so good. Oh my lord. So these were all of my favorite books of 2018. I don't know if I should even risk trying to pick all these up with a candle right there. But there we go. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below if you also read any of these this year and if they made it on your favorites of 2018. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you for my least favorites of 2018 next.